I know we all want this COVID thing to end, and it will. The restrictions in place now won't last forever. Smart people are figuring out how to get vaccines to everyone, but it will take a little longer. Until then, we need to recommit and finish strong. COVID won't stop spreading on its own. We have to stop spreading it. Meet with friends outside, social distance, and most of all, wear a mask. We're all in. Are you?
Some people see just another local Utah sports app. Oh, wait, what? A local Utah sports app? Introducing the new KSL Sports app, powered by KSLSports.com, Utah's only all-in local sports app, connecting you with all the action you love, the latest news, insider analysis, podcasts from the pros, and so much more. Free. Available right now, anywhere you are. Download the free KSL Sports app today from your favorite app store.
At UCCU, we do mortgages fast.
Seriously fast. Just use your phone or computer to fill out UCCU's super easy mortgage application.
You'll receive an instant pre-approval before you start shopping.
Your completed mortgage file will be underwritten by UCCU's very own in-house professionals.
Like us.
Seriously fast.
Buying or refinancing a home has never been this easy.
Seriously fast and super easy.
It's what I do.
It's what I do.
It's what we do.
We love the new apartment.
The natural light is amazing.
Hardwood floors.
There is a bit of a clogging problem.
At least Geico makes it easy to bundle our renters and car insurance.
Yeah, helping us save even more.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access.
Ready to go?
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
Right next to UVU, Wolverine Crossing is the premier award-winning student property in Orem. With renovations of nearly $5 million, Wolverine Crossing has the look and feel of luxury living, including contemporary upgrades and top-tier amenities. Wolverine Crossing supports a strong academic environment, whether you're on campus or remote, and the resident assistant program is nationally recognized, so safety and support is the top priority. Lease now and get half off your November rent. Wolverine Crossing, this is home.
What a beautiful sight just outside of campus on Utah Valley University. Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler. Welcome to Clyde Field for today's WAC showdown between the Seattle U Redhawks and the hometown Utah Valley Wolverines. Melanie, it's a lot better weather than it was on Thursday night. Thursday was crazy. It was windy. It was psycho. And then so was the game. Utah Valley coming in at the last second. Jenna Shepard with her brace, scoring a crazy goal in the 89th minute, essentially to force overtime. Utah Valley and Seattle U tied 2-2 in double overtime. A lot better conditions. What are you expecting today?
Yeah, first of all, going off of that better conditions equals better play, beautiful soccer. But it was a brutal game on Thursday, and so I think we're going to see some of those emotions carry on over here to this game. But overall, it's going to be a great game. We see that UVU's already fixing it up with 4 in the back to start off the lineup. That's what they did coming into the second half of Thursday's match, and that the second half is what made the difference, right? There was a whole new team the second half and going into those overtimes. So hopefully right from the whistle, instead of at halftime, we'll see a strong UVU squad.
There's the whistle, and we are underway here at Clyde Field in Orem, Utah. Seattle U in their road blacks and reds. Utah Valley in their home whites and greens. And we talked to head coach Chris LeMay after that game on Thursday, Melanie. He said essentially it was a tale of two halves. And he thinks, honestly, according to him, that if Utah Valley played the way that they did in the second half and the first half, then who knows if that game would have gone to overtime or not.
Yeah, it's so true. We saw 2 goals that maybe should have not happened. resulting in their kind of the energy that they were bringing to the game. So if they are able to play the same way they did that second half and in overtimes, it will be a whole new game.
Starting lineups as that ball gets rolled back to Isabel Jones-Daw between the posts for Utah Valley. For the hometown Wolverines, Isabel Jones-Daw, like we just mentioned, Heather Stainbrook, Grace Beeston, Brianna Eves, Julie Carter, Sadie Brockbank, Amber Tripp, London Miller, Jenna Shepard, Nicole Olanda, and then Sydney Bushman. Stainbrook laying this one off for Sadie Brockbank. Brockbank with the left foot swings it into the post. London Miller trying to flick it on. London Miller still with it for the Wolverines. Now Bree Eves. Nice move there from Grace Beeston. Grace Beeston with the aggressive attack going forward. Trying to slide it out to Brockbank. Brockbank in a little bit more different position on the outside than she normally is. Lays it back to Beeston. And this one last touched off of Seattle U. Starters for the Redhawks. In between the posts, Madison Wagasback. Sydney Carr, the nation's leading goal scorer, who had the first goal on Thursday, her 14th on the season. As this ball's played into London Miller inside the box. And Seattle U escapes an early opportunity. And there she is right on cue, the nation's leading goal scorer, Sydney Carr, showing off her speed. Trying to split that defense with Utah Valley. Jenna Shepard, again, the hero for the Wolverines on Thursday.
That's what we love seeing by the back line. I loved what Sydney Bushman and Jenna Shepard just did. You can see the more we get into the season, the better they're working together. Sydney saw that Jenna was beat and started stepping, allowing Jenna to run and recycle her and run back in. That's exactly what we want to see as a defensive line, helping each other, recovering, and being each other's support and help.
Finishing off that Seattle U lineup, Gina Leet, Ava Benedetti, Casey Laboda, Michelle Adam, Leigh Manthai, Emily Bunnell, Bailey Hall, Natalie Dixon, and then Emily Hartson. And Melanie, again, we try to avoid cliches, but really this game does have a lot of impact going forward. Utah Valley, from their end, they viewed Thursday's matchup as almost a victory for them. Seattle U on the other side almost as like a loss. And Utah Valley, Seattle battling for this top spot in the conference. California Baptist, of course, with that probation right now, not eligible for that postseason play in the NCAA tournament or anything. But the last three games are very different for both of these two teams. For Utah Valley, next week they go on the road to Chicago State before coming back home with one final home game on Senior Day versus Dixie State. Counter that with Seattle U going and playing New Mexico State and then finishing off with California Baptist.
Yeah, they have a harder season for sure to end on. Cal Baptist is always going to bring up a fight, especially given the result of the last time Seattle U played them with the draw. But ultimately, 3 games each, kind of different skill level of the two end of series. But ultimately, this game's what matters most for both teams.
Here comes that Seattle U counter, very dangerous. And Nicole Olanda and company are going to have their hands full on the backside as Isabel Jones-Daw likes to kick this out of play. And head coach Chris LeMay a little bit fired up here in the first 5 minutes. Again, just because he knows his team, and he knows when he sees his team playing in a way that he knows that they shouldn't be playing. That's where he gets his frustration.
It's always frustrating as a coach when you see that. And he mentioned at the end of the game on Thursday that the past couple games against Seattle U have gone into overtime. Every single game, the past 3 or 4. And so overtime is stressful, especially when you're already coming from an overtime game. And so he knows that if his team doesn't come and play at the very beginning, it's going to be a long game for them.
Seattle U deep throw-in. Carr. Couple bounces inside the box. Last touched off of Utah Valley, so Seattle corner kick early on in the 6th minute. Here's a left foot corner kick sent in, trying to go toward that back post. Kicked back into the box, headed away by Utah Valley. Still in danger zone. And eventually kicked all the way back to Isabel Jones-Daw, who's going to watch this take a one-hop over her head.
Not a terrible idea from Seattle U. It kind of reminded me of Jenna Shepard's goal from last Thursday, and just kind of going back to showing the maturity of Jenna Shepard. You're not going to get much done when the ball's just going back and forth in the air. As far as sending the ball towards goal goes, it was a good chance. It bounced over the goal, so kind of close. But what could have happened if she brought that down, settled it to her feet to take a good quality shot on goal?
Absolutely. Amber Tripp now in full speed, zigzagging her way past a couple defenders, but ultimately met by that back line of Seattle U. And Breeze gets the ball right back for Utah Valley. Bushman looking upfield, and nobody home in that spot. London Miller giving Wagas back some chase. Sadie Brockbank as well inside the box. Sadie Brockbank gets a touch on it. And Coach LeMay really working hard for making these Utah Valley players try and take away those Seattle U angles. That was a point of emphasis the other day as well. And Brockbank trying to get around her defenders. And that looked like a handball that was missed here. And already tensions overflowing from Thursday.
Yeah, unfortunately that was a really interesting play. Not too great of a play by Dixon, assuming that she was fouled and straight up trying to stop the ball with her hand and not getting the call. But overall, we get the throw in. We're able to settle back in and take it right back down to them.
London Miller inside the box, fighting through two Seattle U defenders here. London Miller playing it back to Stainbrook. And Stainbrook's pass ultimately intercepted. Now Carr trying to get a touch on it. Carr on the near side. Now here's Manthai. Manthai. Searching ball to left foot. And Isabel Jones-Dahl will come out to corral it. We'll take another look at that last play, Melanie. And she fully grabs the ball. And Amber Tripp on the other end slides this one down to Julie Carter. Julie Carter, one touch inside the box. Amber Tripp still trying to have it. Instead, toe poked away by Seattle U.
Yeah, he doesn't call the foul, that's one thing, but how you can't call that handball, that's the main question right there.
Utah Valley with a beautiful ball, but just caught the jet stream, went out left. Both of these teams know essentially what's at stake here. They know, for confidence sake, really, going into the conference tournament in Arizona in just a few weeks. About 3 weeks away in Phoenix. The last 3 times, like you mentioned, Melanie, these two teams have played. It's gone into overtime. But not on Thursday, but the time before that was in the conference championship in the fall of 2019. So Coach LeMay doing all he can to try and rebuild this Utah Valley team. And Seattle U now starting to knock on the door, but momentarily taken away by Nicole Landa for Utah Valley. Nicole Landa now to Tripp to Carter. Carter looking upfield for London Miller. And this one kicked out of play, last touch off of Seattle. So Nicole Olanda will do the throw-in for the Wolverines. Olanda looking for some help. Finally elects to go to Julie Carter. Now London Miller sends his one into the box, looking for Sadie Brockbank, headed back by Seattle U. And Carr, extremely dangerous. And her quickness and her speed, Melanie, cannot be understated. And she tries to put a touch on it. This one goes too far.
Yeah, but what you exactly said, that pace is incredible. She takes one touch and she's in the races on her horse, not looking down, right? She's going towards goal, and that is extremely dangerous, especially when UVU defense gets caught on their heels.
And from a former defender's perspective, when you have a couple moments like that, if you're Sydney Bushman or if you're Nicole Orlando, Jenna Shepard, mentally in your mind, what are you thinking going forward now?
Hey, I'm keeping my composure, right? We're going to not step too hard on her. We're going to be patient in our stepping, giving her that space, containing her in that space, waiting for that mistake. By us not really coming in full speed and pressuring hard, but keeping her contained, that slows her down. That keeps her in front of us. And when she's in front of us, slowing down, that's where mistakes happen that we can pounce on.
Heather Stainbrook now to Amber Tripp for the Wolverines. Tripp trying to cross this one near side. She does, finds Grace Beeston. And Julie Carter barely was able to get that before Wagaspack got there. And a corner kick is awarded for the Utah Valley Wolverines.
What great effort by Julie Carter. That is what we love to see as forwards. I know I've been joking of like, hey, why can't we just have Jenna Shepard in the starting forward, right? Because Jenna shows that aggression, but we just saw that from Julie Carter, and that's what we need more of. Yeah, you may not get a good quality shot, but you'll get a deflection for a corner kick.
Heather Stainbrook with the corner kick for the Wolverines. Inside the box, headed by Jenna Shepard, but just missed her target. And we saw how effective Jenna Shepard was on Thursday in getting up in the air and being able to put her head on those 50-50 balls. And I think that might be something that Coach LeMay is going to try and exploit even more so today.
He definitely will. It's a strength that this team has that you have to implement and you have to use because it's dangerous. She's dangerous, and she has that hunger as well that helps propel her in those dangerous opportunities.
So a substitution for Seattle U. Casey Laboda steps off momentarily. Kate Connolly checks on for the Redhawks. And some fancy footwork in the middle from Seattle U. Ava Benedetti. Now Stainbrook with it. And Stainbrook plays it all the way back to Bushman for the reset. An errant pass gets taken away by the Redhawks. Jenna Shepard on the near side. Taps it out of play. Dixon with the two-handed toss. And Grace Beeson there to intercept. Carr with the back heel. Now taken away by the Wolverines. And another player who I thought might have been the unsung MVP for Seattle U on Thursday was Bunnell, Emily Bunnell, who got that second goal, put it through off of a PK. But just what she was able to do, shifting around from that midfield position, going back to the defending spot, I thought what she was able to do from the defensive standpoint was fantastic for Coach Woodward and her crew.
She was definitely, I couldn't agree more with that. She was definitely what you want in a midfield player. She was all over the field. Those are the midfielders that you wish you could see their tracker after the game to see how much ground she covered, how much mileage she put on during the game. And they were crucial moments too, right? She was crucial in the defense, making some tremendous saves and blocks and shutting down UVU's attack. But again, the PK, she was a part of that attack just as much as she was in the defense.
And like you said, in those crunch moments, keeping her composure. A big physical player, not backing down. It's another asset for Coach Woodward and her crew. And Seattle U again inside Utah Valley territory. Quarter of an hour has passed so far. Dangerous opportunity. Isabel Jones-Dodd with a toe touch. And a team save from Utah Valley. Big sigh of relief from the Wolverines. My goodness.
Yeah, that was crucial. And ultimately, great job on Bree Eves. Playing that we're talking about the midfield of how crucial you are, right? She saw that outside back post open, and she did her best to get goal side on it, and it paid off.
Utah Valley still struggling to get it out of their own area. Sydney Carr, again, nation's leading scorer, this time taken away by Jenna Shepard. 50-50 ball won by the Redhawks. Dixon Grace Beeston gets beat momentarily. This ball sent in toward the box. Nobody home in the back post. Kick save and a goal. Seattle U strikes first, just like Thursday. A little bit of deja vu here, Melanie.
Around the same time as well.
And the nation's leading goal scorer continues to add on. And she comes over with the little wiping of the boot celebration. Sydney Carr, her nation-leading 15th goal on the season. And we'll take another look at this here, Melanie, see what happened. Nice cross in and a missed clearance by the back line. And ultimately the shot forced Isabel Jones-Doss. She made a nice initial save, but Carr was there for that putback.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate that Sydney Bushman got caught on the ground, because those are the moments you got to jump right back up so you can be goal side. We can't afford those easy deflection shots.
And Utah Valley's been in this position before, playing from behind. They did it just a couple days ago. Now we'll see how they respond. London Miller, nice touch to Olanda. Olanda inside the box. Olanda cuts back to her left. Olanda still with it, now outside to Sadie Brockbank. Brockbank with a shot. Wagas back with the save. So Utah Valley responds with their best shot of the day on goal, moments after Carr puts Seattle U on top 1-0. Landa finds Brockbank. Brockbank in a great spot. I think Wagasback knew she was going to come near side, especially with that defender right there to block that far side angle.
And a lesson that we learned from last game, and then just a couple minutes ago with Seattle U, that we wish would have been implemented just then. The importance of following the shot, right? We saw it with Jenna Shepard's goal of just dropping it right to her feet and tapping it in. We saw it a couple minutes ago with Carr being able to do the same thing. You got to follow the shots, especially when Sadie Brockbank, with as strong of a leg as she has, is shooting it. Good opportunity to follow that shot and put it back in.
So again, Seattle U taking the 1-0 lead in the 16th minute. Sydney Carr with her 15th and nation-leading goal on the season. And Utah Valley trying to respond. Utah Valley in their home whites and greens. Seattle U and they're visiting red and blacks. Bree Eves now to Grace Beeston. Beeston with some room in front of her. Dixon coming over to try to defend. Dixon gets a toe on it. Beeston still has it. Beeston continuing to pursue. The shot deflected. And they're going to call a handball on Seattle U. So it'll be a free kick just outside the box. '19th minute. This ball sent into the box. Almost an own goal for the Redhawks. Nervy moment. And right on cue, Seattle U coming over. Bit frustrated.
Yeah, that's what's hard about these games so close together as well. You have a lot of this frustration, I think it's fair to say, that it's stemming off of Thursday's game. Thursday got a little heated, right? Frustrations, nerves, anxiousness. You can't get rid of that in a 24-hour period. So we'll definitely see a lot of that frustration carry over here.
A fantastic battle to keep your eye out for is Jenna Shepard, number 22, in the green and white, and Sydney Carr in the black and red. And ever since that goal, Jenna Shepard stepping up her game a little bit. Sydney Carr a little bit more frustrated than she was in the first 16 minutes. And that's just two ultimate competitors trying to get the best of each other.
It definitely is.
Nice touch by Beeston. Playing back to Eves. Stainbrook. Brockbank. Now Stainbrook. And Stainbrook just slips. Connolly. Too far, too fast for Carr. Connolly for the Redhawks. Now Bunnell with it, and Bunnell kicks it out of play.
Looks like she did it for an injured play of her teammate.
So Dixon will step off momentarily for the Redhawks. Coming on for her, Valentina Bernal. And it looks like the player for the Redhawks being tended to right now is Emily Hartson. And Emily Hartson being helped up by Wagasback, her goalkeeper, and team trainer as well. Anna Pickering checking into the match for Sadie Brockbank. And coming in now for Hartson for the Redhawks is Taylor Marks, number 26. So now we see a substitution coming in. Anna Pickering going to her normal right-hand side of the field and switching it up and having Julie Carter now for the Wolverines on top, along with London Miller now on the left-hand side. And we know how aggressive Coach Woodward and her Seattle U crew like to play, and so I doubt that they're going to try and pack it in defensively here because that's not what they did on Thursday night either.
They won't. And we saw that they need to, right? They can't forward a 1-0 lead. They know UVU is a strong team. They're fighters. They're aggressive, and they're not out of this game. And so Seattle, is definitely not going to pack it in. If anything, they're going to keep sending it forward to get as many goals as they can on UVU before they pack it in.
And to counter that, Coach LeMay saw that, recognized that from Thursday, so he's countering with an even more potential attack. As Julie Carter forces this ball to be kicked out of play. So it'll be a throw-in. Beeston gets the ball in quickly to Amber Tripp. Tripp for the Wolverines, sliding it over, nobody home. And that was another thing that was really plaguing Utah Valley on Thursday, Melanie, was their impatience, for lack of a better word, and they were just kind of putting balls into no man's land. They were kicking balls up to the field, nobody was home, and it was almost a wishful passing.
Exactly. It was a little bit carelessly in their possession. They wouldn't take the time to make sure it got to their feet. They felt the pressure and they would get it off their foot, and it would be picked off or go right to the Seattle U player. We saw it fixed as the game went on, but if that's a trap they can't fall into again this game.
So this game has been like a pendulum. Utah Valley had a little bit of momentum inside Seattle U territory, then it switched back and ultimately led to the Seattle U goal. Now it's coming back to Utah Valley's way as it's played back to Olanda. Olanda trying to find Miller. And this one last touch off of Olanda go out of play, and Seattle U escapes another set-piece opportunity for the Wolverines. Another beautiful day here at Orem, Utah. Thank you for joining us here on the WAC Digital Network on YouTube, KSL streaming app. Melanie Osler, Brandon Crow, Melanie Perkins, I beg your pardon. Ben Schroeder here alongside with us as well. A lot better conditions, blue skies, some gray clouds instead of all gray clouds like we had on Thursday. Seattle U with a 1-0 lead. And that goal coming courtesy of the nation's leading goal scorer in Sydney Carr, her 15th on the season. Seattle U trying to find another goal here. This ball sent it toward the box, back post. Ooh, another nervy moment for that back line, Utah Valley. And again, if you're Coach Woodward, you have to like what you're seeing here from this offense, finding those cracks.
Exactly. They know where the space is. They're finding those balls, and they're slotting them through perfectly. Now it's just a matter of getting in the right spot, playing the right ball, picking someone out for the uncontested finish.
And Sydney Carr again on that back post, the intended target for Seattle U. That initial pass just a little bit too far for her. Bunnell gets a head on it. Pickering trying to for the Wolverines. Kick downfield by the Red Hawks, and Nicole Lando will play defense. Kick it back to Bushman. Stainbrook on the ground. Headed back by Bushman. '25th minute here at Clyde Field. Utah Valley trying to conjure up some magic here in the first. Amber Tripp slots this through, trying to find Stainbrook. Eventually played all the way back to Olanda. Olanda on the ground. Nice one-touch passing by the Wolverines. Good anticipation and defense by the Red Hawks. Miller, the young freshman for the Wolverines, slides it out to Anna Pickering. Too far, too fast. And a dead ball, which allows Sydney Carr to come off for the Red Hawks, and stepping on in her place, Allie Bergford. Carr again scored the goal in the 16th minute, her 15th conference leading, team leading, and nation leading goal.
With those stats, you'd like to think that the back line saw her going out and took a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief, whatever, because they can finally breathe for a second.
Heather Stainbrook with it for the Wolverines. Nice move from Anna Pickering. Anna Pickering penetrating in the box. Pickering on the floor. Pickering! Utah Valley couldn't put it through. There was no white shirts around. The ball was dancing and flirting with that front line right in front of goal. 3 black shirts were there to clear it out.
We saw the black shirts. I wish we could have seen some more white shirts in the mix. I'm not exactly sure where anyone was.
Pickering again with that great move. Slides it home. Gets by Wagasback. Amber Tripp almost got the toe touch on it right there in the corner. And then you saw London Miller was just a couple steps behind. And right back at it, Seattle U with the shot right to Isabel Jones-Daw. And Jones-Daw has already come up big so far for Utah Valley with a couple saves. She registered 5 crucial ones on Thursday. Pickering giving chase. Pickering steals away from Wagasback. Utah Valley with an opportunity here. Stainbrook with a shot and a save by Wagasback.
They're back. What a great sub with Anna Pickering, showing her speed and the burst of energy she brings to the attacking line here.
You saw with that shot from Heather Stainbrook and the nice save from Wagasback, and that put all the Seattle U coaches' hands on top of their heads. They knew that they were very close from being tied 1 apiece. Here's a set-piece opportunity for the Wolverines, and another goal for Jenna Shepard. On the set piece, the hero from Thursday strikes again and equalizes in the 29th.
What a true hero right there. Always willing to go up, take her team on her shoulders, show example, ultimately a great example as well, showing her team what it takes.
Jenna Shepard had 2 goals on Thursday, and Heather Stainbrook with another beautiful pass inside the box. Jenna Shepard there just to rise and penetrate, and we're all tied up at 1 apiece. And Utah Valley with the renewed vigor, renewed life. And some fresh substitutions for Utah Valley with Anna Pickering. Again, making that play happen, putting all the pressure on Wagasback to force this corner. And unmarked, Jenna Shepard just comes in, flies through, and puts it home.
Again, in my opinion, all courtesy of Anna Pickering, right? That pace, that pressure resulting in that corner kick to set it all up.
So Jenna Shepard, third goal in the last 2 games. And did we mention she's a defensive back? Very reminiscent of one of my all-time favorites, and Carl Puyol for Barcelona coming in from that back line. You need to fly in on those set pieces just like Jenna Shepard and head it home.
It makes you wish that she wasn't as good as she is in the center back role. Let's get her in that center forward role for more goals.
London Miller now with it with a toe touch. Miller trying to get around that back line. Wagasback coming all the way out of her box to do so. Clears it on the near side. Julie Carter, London Miller, trying to play the angles game here. Sydney Bushman going to head this one back to Jones Daw. And we'll see how long Sydney Carr will stay on the bench for Coach Woodward. So a half-hour mark of the match. Utah Valley, Seattle U all tied up at 1 apiece. Sydney Carr again with her nation-leading 15th goal on the season in the 16th minute. Utah Valley strikes back with Jenna Shepard's 3rd goal in the last 2 games in the 29th. And a couple more substitutions for Utah Valley. London Miller stepping off as Cassidy McCormick steps on. And for Seattle U, coming onto the pitch, Michaela Mori. And stepping off, Gina Leet.
You know, Brendan, it's really good and fun to see. At the beginning of this season, I feel like, speaking for ourselves, we didn't know if we would ever be able to score on set pieces and corners. And here we are in the latter part of the season. It's where the past 3 goals have come from.
Absolutely. I think halfway through, well, in the New Mexico series or shortly after that, we did the math here. It was the New Mexico series, game 2, when we were playing up in Harriman at the indoor facility. Our statistician, Ben Schroeder, was able to break it down for us, and he said it was close to like 70-some-odd set pieces so far in the season, and Utah Valley hadn't been able to capitalize once. And now, like you said, Melly, that's where every goal's coming from.
Exactly. It's what I love to see. Practice makes perfect, I guess.
Now, if you're Coach Woodward and the Redhawks of Seattle U, knowing what happened on Thursday when you put up 2 goals and then you saw 2 goals come right back to tie things up, here we are. You were up a goal. Again, almost deja vu all over again as we see Anna Pickering. We'll get back to that thought in just a minute. Utah Valley with Cassidy McCormick. McCormick's ball sent in. It was deflected, so it'll be a corner kick for the Wolverines. And this is a big question, is how can the Seattle U team continue to respond here?
They've just got to keep giving it them their all. They know the danger on the set pieces. They've got to make their marks, and they've got to be strong, especially in the air against Jenna Shepard.
Heather Stainbrook, who got the assist on the last goal for the Wolverines, send this into the box, headed away by that back line of Seattle U. Nicole Landa didn't have enough venom on it, and the ball bouncing all over everybody here. Nicole Landa still with it. Nicole Landa trying to wind up for a shot, trying to deflect it now. And Seattle U trying to counter. Bree Eves doing a good job. And she gets a round of applause from her head coach, Chris LeMay. Bree Eves coming in to penetrate and take that angle away. Ava Benedetti steps off. Paige Malm comes on for the Redhawks. Cassidy McCormick gives way to Amber Tripp. Tripp. You're seeing a renewed energy and a renewed life for the Utah Valley team here after that goal by Jenna Shepard. Seattle U still trying to keep their composure, doing a good job at doing that. Trying not to give up anything on the defensive side. Some good one-touch passing here for the Redhawks. Bergford looking for some help at the top of the box. Bergford, curler, right at the near post. Isabel Jones-Daw there with the save.
They're knocking, right? It's still showing that it's 1-1. Both teams are still in it. Seattle U, once they get the opportunity, they will make a good quality opportunity out of it.
And a free kick coming here for the Wolverines. A beautiful touch pass, and this might be a card. Referee Joe Pickens reaches inside of his pocket and issues a booking for Seattle U's Michaela Mori.
Yeah, great job on Julie Carter. And ultimately, sometimes you have to do what you have to do when you're facing Julie Carter, who has a beautiful touch into space, beating the defensive line. Sometimes all you can is foul like that. But like I said, Julie Carter had that beat. She had the last man of defense beat. A yellow is deserved.
So in the 34th minute, Utah Valley again, Melanie, with a dangerous opportunity here to take the lead on a set piece. Heather Stainbrook all alone behind the ball, looking at a wall of Redhawks. Stainbrook going to take it herself. This one too high and out of play. Stainbrook trying to just take that one herself and just didn't get the touch on it that she wanted. And Seattle U kicks this one out of play. Last touch off of Utah Valley, however. About 10 minutes until halftime, and we've already seen 2 goals. How many more goals are we going to see here on the afternoon, Melanie?
I'm not sure, but they're not stopping. I do know that. We'll see a couple more.
Seattle U almost right on cue, trying to slide this one across. Grace Beeson denies. Cassie McCormick, Bree Eves. The ball eventually settled back to the back line, and Maury, who just got issued the yellow for the Redhawks. Jenna to the near side, Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp back to Beeston. Beeston to Shepard. Shepard all the way back to Jones Daw. The reset coming for the Wolverines. So the back line for Utah Valley. This is the most possession and most patience we've seen from them so far overall.
Yeah, it's a great idea what they're doing. It didn't really turn out the way they wanted to, but by the defensive line possessing it like they were, they're hoping to draw the Seattle U team up. They're trying to get them up, which would result in space. And unfortunately, we didn't see it go to a UVU player, but ultimately a great idea and great patience, like you said, from our defensive line trying to create those.
So referee Joe Pickens comes over as the clock is stopped. And so they're adjusting the clock. I think they're adding 30 more seconds on. So, in the wings that just came on for Utah Valley was Breida Wall. And Breida Wall, this is only her second game that we've seen her play so far this year, the first being that crosstown rivalry matchup against nation powerhouse BYU. And we know Breida Wall had an ankle procedure done in the offseason, as this is a foul being called against Amber Tripp. And she's worked her tail off to get back in playing shape in the position to be in to try and continue to add her prowess on the pitch to her squad.
She has been, and what a great time to start making her appearance. We saw a little bit in BYU, slowly but surely she's getting back, and so I'm excited to see what that maturity will bring to this UVU squad once she's fully back.
Hallie Burkford with the long-distance connection just goes high. Isabel Jones-Daw was right there, and her fingers just about touched the goalpost on that one, and any lower, I think Jonestown might have gotten it. But still, an impressive strike from distance for the Red Hawks. And just, again, keeping the Utah Valley backline honest. Just saying, hey, don't forget about me. I know you're worried about other people, but I can put this one back here too.
Exactly. And that's what they're doing. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You got to mix up the play. You got to be more patient, create a more technical finish. But sometimes, why not shoot it out wide? Getting that alert of, hey, you're going to have to step on me sooner, which then, again, opens up to be able to play into space and do a more technical attacking.
And Breedewall's first touch goes a little bit wide. Now Utah Valley struggling on the near side to maintain possession. Stainbrook trying to get around her defender. Last touched off of Seattle U. And Stainbrook again quickly gets the ball back into Cassidy McCormick. And this one will be touched out of play for a goal kick for Wagas back in the Red Hawks. And so now they're going to switch and bring Anna Pickering over here to the near side along with Breda Wall. Good anticipation from Beeston. Nice ball back from DeWall. '40th minute, about 5 minutes left in the first half. All tied up one apiece. Amber Tripp lays it off to Stainbrook. Stainbrook with pressure from behind. She feels it, pulls it back, gives it to Orlando. Stainbrook with the left foot, looking for DeWall. Pickering with the header. Tripp. McCormick. McCormick going down toward that byline. McCormick pulls it back, left foot finds DeWall. Tripp. Amber Tripp zigzagging her way to some space. And Jenna Shepard booms this one in the air. And a free kick is awarded. And another clock stoppage as head referee Joe Pickens is going to call Bunnell over for Seattle U. He's going to have a talking to after the referee blew the whistle. Looked like Bunnell did a little back heel to try and a little stall tactic here. And Joe Pickens was not having any of it, so he gave his official warning to Bunnell. And we just saw essentially this same opportunity for Utah Valley just over here on the near side about 5 minutes ago. Stainbrook tried to take it herself. This one it went high. And we'll see what Stainbrook elects to do. She has Nicole landed to her left, Amber Tripp in front of her to her right, along with the wall. There's the whistle. Stainbrook service. Going toward that back post, and it goes in the back of the net. Stainbrook takes it herself. 2-1 Wolverines in the 41st.
What a beautiful
That'll do.
ball. Yeah, we'll take it. I would love to hear Coach Chris LeMay of what they were planning on doing. It looked a little too lofty to be a shot on goal, but hey, we'll take it.
Heather Stainbrook puts Utah Valley on top 2-1, caught Wagas back off guard. Wagas back, I think, was looking at Jenna Shepard coming in on that corner and just didn't really know where she was. And eventually, the ball just curled right in the back post. And from our vantage point, as soon as Heather Stainbrook touched it, I thought that thing was going clear over the goalpost.
Exactly what I was saying with that loftiness. Might have distracted Seattle U's team a little bit, thinking that, hey, this is a lofty ball. It's either going over or she's trying to find Jenna Shepard's head again. And so all the attention went to that. But we'll take the goal.
And again, if you don't like this, then you don't like soccer, especially WAC soccer. Two of the better teams in the conference just going back and back, trading blows with each other. We saw on Thursday, Seattle U scored it first and the only goal in the first half. They came out in the second half, scored goal number 2. Utah Valley came back in the second half to score 2 to tie it up. Seattle U takes the lead 1-0 here in the first. Utah Valley comes back and scores 2 of their own.
What they're probably thinking and are so happy that it's a little earlier in the game, right? We're not saving the goals for the last couple minutes of the game.
And again, both goals for Utah Valley coming with Sydney Carr on the bench for Seattle U, and you have to think how much of an impact she makes on this team for the Redhawks.
She is. She disrupts that defense. We've seen when you break down the game of soccer, right, most of the plays start with the defense. You're building it from the back to create those opportunities going forward. And when you have someone like Sydney Carr who disrupts that play, and patience and composure as we see from this back line, it makes it easy for UVU to get their scoring opportunities, but it makes it very difficult for Seattle U to break it down. She is a key player to the disruption of UVU's play.
Nice ball from Brita Wall to Anna Pickering. Pickering dancing around the top of the box, trying to find Cassidy McCormick, and eventually kicked out of play. Good vision from Brita Wall. I thought she was going to go to McCormick initially, but then she saw Anna Pickering before I could. So Utah Valley trying not to concede an equalizing goal before the half. And Jenna Shepard trying to find Cassidy McCormick. McCormick takes a stumble. And Shepard just boots this one down to Cassidy McCormick. Great ball from Shepard from the back. McCormick trying to find Pickering. Flag stays down. Pickering just barely loses her touch. Her body was taking her left when the ball was staying right. Now Bree Eves trying to find a toe touch to DeWall. Anna Pickering again putting that pressure inside the box. It'll be a Utah Valley throw. 43rd minute. Grace Beeston looks back, has a look at the clock, takes her time. And for a freshman, very composed. Pickering goes down toward the end line. This one last touch, kicked out of play. Be a corner kick for the Wolverines here. As we approach the final minute of the first half. Brita Wall throws it into Beeston. Beeston touches it to Pickering. Pickering trying to go back to Beeston. And eventually played all the way back to Bushman. Bushman at the center stripe. 45 seconds left in the half. Beeston plays it back to Jones-Daw. Jones-Daw with 30 left in the half. DeWall, nice header. Anna Pickering is onside. Now Lily Haskins in the box. Haskins unselfishly trying to go back to McCormick or Pickering. Nobody home to finish it off. 15 seconds left in the half. That would have been a great opportunity for the Wolverines here.
It would have been. What a great vision from Lily Haskins. Not sure if she could have taken that touch more in towards goal, but when you play the ball across the box like that, that's the ball that you want. What a beautiful ball, given angles for someone to come one touch, just unfortunately no one there.
Halftime score in Orem, Utah. Utah Valley on top of Seattle U 2-1. Carr with her 15th nation-leading goal in the 16th minute for the Redhawks. They strike first. Jenna Shepard comes back with her third goal in 2 games in the 29th to tie it up. And then Heather Stainbrook's beauty of a rainbow free kick goes in the back of the net in the 41st. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Enjoy the beautiful scenery from Utah Valley campus.
We love the new apartment.
The natural light is amazing.
Hardwood floors.
There is a bit of a clogging problem.
At least Geico makes it easy to bundle our renters and car insurance.
Yeah, helping us save even more.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Make some noise!
Creativity is the answer. Never play on repeat. Put your own spin on things. Let a new wave begin.
All right, come on, let's go.
2 seconds. Creators run the show. We want the awesome. stage. Rise up from the streets to the pros.
So much.
Creativity is the answer to a world divided. Tear down those walls. Make worlds unite. Flip the script. Rewrite the rules. Creativity is the answer. Now over to you.
It's not always easy being the exception. They'll tell you you don't belong, that it's not your place, that it'll never fly. But here, you learn that you have a choice. You can listen to those voices, or you can leave them all speechless. But the key component there is you.
Some people see just another local Utah sports app. Oh, wait, what? A local Utah sports app? Introducing the new KSL Sports app, powered by KSLSports.com, Utah's only all-in local sports app, connecting you with all the action you love, the latest news, insider analysis, podcasts from the pros, and so much more, free. Available right now, anywhere you are. Download the free KSL Sports app today from your favorite app store.
Join the Wolverine Club, a simple message with a major impact.
Finds the back of the net for the Wolverines!
Support student athletes like former Utah Valley University women's soccer star, graduate, and Rhodes Scholar finalist Hannah Bruce. Not only is Hannah the first UVU student athlete to be a Rhodes Scholar finalist, she is currently studying to earn a master's degree in neuroscience at the renowned University of Oxford in England. Support the next Wolverine Rhodes Scholar finalist by joining the Wolverine Club today.
At UCCU, we do mortgages fast.
Seriously fast. Just use your phone or computer to fill out UCCU's super easy mortgage application.
You'll receive an instant pre-approval before you start shopping.
Your completed mortgage file will be underwritten by UCCU's very own in-house professionals.
Like us.
Seriously fast.
Buying or refinancing a home has never been this easy.
Seriously fast and super easy.
It's what I do.
It's what I do.
It's what we do.
Who am I? And furthermore, what do I want? What makes you itch? That's the most important investigation anyone can make. But you don't find this out until you investigate it. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Because if you say that money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. Forget the money. After all, if you do really like what you're doing, you can eventually become a master of it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. Therefore, it's so important to consider this question. What do I desire?
To national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access.
Ready to go?
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
At Intermountain Healthcare, we understand that broken arms haven't stopped. Babies continue to be born, emergencies continue to happen, and doctor visits are still needed. At Intermountain Healthcare, we've put the measures in place to safely care for you in these difficult times. So please, don't put off the care you need, especially for stroke-like symptoms, chest pain, difficulty breathing, or other urgent care. We're here for you. Visit intermountainhealthcare.org/here-for-you to learn how to get the care you need.
At UCCU, we do mortgages fast.
Seriously fast.
Just use your phone or computer to fill out UCCU's super easy mortgage application.
And buying or refinancing a home has never been this easy.
Seriously fast and super easy.
Welcome back to Orem, Utah. Clyde Field, Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Ostler. Ben Schroeder with us as well. 2-1, Utah Valley over Seattle U. At the break, Utah Valley and Melanie went down 1-0 with Sydney Carr's 15th and nation-leading goal in the 16th minute. And then Jenna Shepard, 15 minutes later, comes back and equalizes with her third goal in 2 games. And then right before the half, in the 41st minute, Heather Stainbrook with a beauty. Maybe an error, who knows, but it counts as a goal nonetheless in the back of the net for the Wolverines in the 41st, and that's where we stand, 2-1. And it was a back-and-forth battle like we always have seen with these two squads, but honestly, from our vantage point, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like the whole momentum and tide switched when Coach Woodward took out Sydney Carr.
I agree with you, Brandon. She is a key player, and the Seattle U team needs it, and it showed.
Let's take a look at the standings. Again, just a reminder, Seattle U sitting on top 7-1-2, CBU 7-2-1, Utah Valley set 6-2-2 right behind them. And we know what this series means for both squads and what this series means for the rest of the conference. We have the conference tournament in a couple weeks in Phoenix. Utah Valley, the next 3 games. Next week they travel on the road to Chicago, take on the Cougars before coming back home for one final match against Dixie State. On the other side for the Redhawks, New Mexico State and California Baptist. As we take a look at the Utah Valley Wolverines' upcoming schedule, again, favorable for Utah Valley. I mean, those teams, Chicago State and Dixie State, the Utah Valley has had a lot of success with in the past. And we see, again, next week, if you're in town and if you're a volleyball fan, the WAC volleyball tournament is here as well at Lockhart Arena. And then looking forward to the future here, Melanie, Utah Valley, Seattle U are going to have a lot more different competition to try and get used to as we take a look at the different teams entering into the Western Athletic Conference. And we're going to go alphabetical order here. Abilene Christian, we saw their basketball team pull off success in the NCAA tournament, upsetting Texas. California Baptist has already shown in flex what they can do. Chicago State for one more year, Dixie State, Grand Canyon, Lamar, New Mexico State, Rio Grande Valley, Sam Houston State, and then Stephen F. Austin. So some more Texas schools, which I'm sure Coach LeMay and his squad will be very happy about with the weather. And then continuing on down, Tarleton, Utah Valley, and then 2022 Southern Utah.
What an exciting time, though. We've seen and we've talked about the growth of this conference. Each team is getting bigger and better each year. The competition is getting better each year. And to be able to add another mix of teams, it's awesome. It's going to – we've been having all this talk about conference tournament. That alone is going to add a whole new stir with the conference tournament. You're going to have to work to get into the conference tournament to win that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, top to bottom, we've talked about this over several broadcasts over the last couple of years, Melanie, of just not just in soccer, but overall almost in every sport in the Western Athletic Conference. The competition continues to increase, and that forces better play all around, which is fantastic. And more people across the nation are starting to recognize and starting to raise their eyebrows a little bit more when they hear the Western Athletic Conference.
Yeah, and it's going to make the importance of these regular season games 10 times more, because the way it has been kind of set up is it's sometimes easier to get into the conference tournament than most conference tournaments are. And so the fact that they're actually going to have to compete, they're going to have to win games to even make it to the tournament is huge.
A quick look at the first half stats as we wrap up this final 50 seconds before the second half whistle. Shots so far, Utah Valley had 7 shots in that first half to the Redhawks' 9. Corner kicks, Seattle U only had 1 corner kick. The Wolverines had 3. And as far as saves go, Wagasback made 3 saves. Isabel Jones-Daw made 5. And then the Redhawks had 3 fouls to the Wolverines' 4.
Another interesting stat that I always love to look at. It's a little different than Thursday. Thursday matches, possession was, it seemed like UVU's favor, but when we got the numbers broken down, it was pretty similar. But this half is pretty remarkable, to be honest. UVU, 67% of the possession versus Seattle U's 33%.
So again, Utah Valley in their home whites with the green trim. Switching the field now, going to be going from left to right as you see it and as we see it. And the Redhawks of Seattle U going the opposite way, going from right to left in their red bottoms with their black fading to red tops, along with the red numbers. And Sydney Carr is in the ballgame for the Redhawks to start the second half as we expected. Again, the nation's leading goal scorer scored her 15th on the season in the 16th minute. Referee Joe Pickens blows the whistle, and we are underway with the second half from Clyde Field on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler and Ben Schroeder. Thank you for being a part of our afternoon with us here. Sit back, relax, buckle up, because I feel like it's going to be an intense 45 minutes here to finish this one. And Utah Valley right out of the gate here in the second half, putting a lot of pressure on this back line of Seattle U. Already up 2-1. Utah Valley trying to see if they can sneak in a third goal to start this half. And Joe Pickens blows the whistle. They're going to say that this one was last touch grazed off of Utah Valley. So, Melanie, like we always do, from the former player's perspective, if you're Coach Woodward in that huddle in the tent at halftime, what's the message?
Keep going. Get the gas pedal. We know how to come back for a goal down, and ultimately keep capitalizing on the opportunities that we have. Exploit UVU's weaknesses, find the space, and as we've seen the past 2 games, I think that is exploit the wings. Play down the field, play down the line, allow those crosses. But let's step up our crosses a little bit. Pick out someone and get it to that person's head, foot, whatever.
And on the other side, if you're head coach Chris LeMay, with that 2-1 lead at halftime, what is that message for his squad?
They're not done. and that's what he's going to say. He knows that the past few games have gone into overtime, so not assuming that this game is going to get tied up, but he's like, we're not going to let it, right? So he's like, don't let up. Stick to what we've been doing. If they have 67% of possession this half, it's going to be extremely difficult for Seattle U to get the ball to even start creating opportunities.
Bree Eves in the central spot for Utah Valley. Has options to her left and right. Bree Eves cuts back right. Still dancing with it. Now finds Heather Stainbrook. Stainbrook now down to Julie Carter. Carter trying to find Brockbank. Brockbank going to 1v. Back to Carter. They're going to kick this one out. And it looks like it will be a corner kick awarded for the Wolverines. And this will be Utah Valley's 4th corner kick. And so I believe this will be Nikki Olanda. And Nikki Olanda will take the corner kick for the Wolverines. Olanda, a low line drive to the top of the box. Kicked back by Seattle and eventually kicked out of play. Last touch by Heather Stainbrook and the Wolverines. And again, if you are interested in those stats type of things, we've got an interesting stat for you. So far on this season, when Utah Valley is leading at the half, Melanie, 3-0.
It's a stat we like to hear.
Nicole Landa again throws this in, trying to find Julie Carter. Julie Carter doing well to keep her body in play. Olanda. And just a mistouch. A little sluggish after that quick burst in the first minute from Utah Valley so far.
Exactly, and it goes back to what we've been saying of, hey, you got to keep your composure, you're cool, you're calm, whatever. Examine your options and play a good quality ball. Like Amber Tripp just did.
Julie Carter with it now inside the box. Carter trying to corral it. Brockbank back out to Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp down toward that byline. Tripp swings this one to the box right at Wagasback, who is there and waiting. First 5 minutes in the books of the second half. Shepard. Great ball to Grace Beeston. Even better touch from Beeston. Beeston now toward the byline. Has options. Maybe a little bit too far. Amber Tripp trying to volley. Still gets a foot on it. Corrals it to herself. Amber Tripp. Beautiful. Little nutmeg gets past Bunnell. They both go down. Referee says play on. Now Brockbank with it, and Brockbank dispossessed. Amber Tripp gets up with a smile on her face. Maybe she's starting to have a little bit more fun now. And Bunnell with the shoulder. Hits Nicole Landa off the ball for a goal kick. Has a great ball, great move by Beeston down toward that byline, sending it across. Maybe a little bit too hard of a pass, but Amber Tripp doing well to keep it in play. And just one step away from getting past Bunnell. But then again, like we talked about in the first half, Melanie, tip your cap to Bunnell. Bunnell is just one of those stalwarts from that midfield spot and coming up and making plays when her Seattle team needs her to.
Mm-hmm, especially when you take a look back at how much space Amber Tripp had, right? Again, we've said how amazing it was on Grace Beeston's part. She saw that Amber was there. She knew that it needed to be in the air instead of on the ground because it was all crowded on the ground options. But she saw Amber Tripp with all that space. But before it could even get to Amber Tripp's, Bunnell, just right there.
So a throw-in coming for the Utah Valley Wolverines. Heather Stainbrook finds herself with it. Stainbrook sends this one in toward the box. Player goes down, and they're going to call an offensive foul against Julie Carter. Free kick taken by the Redhawks. Olanda. Now Stainbrook with it. Brockbank trying to recover. And Shepard going to play it back to Jones-Daw. And then Sydney Carr, very dangerous, like a shark in bloody waters, just lurking.
I'm surprised she let off the gas pedal like she did there. I feel like Jenna's ball was a little sluggish and not the pace that we'd like to see. And I feel like Carr is much faster than what we saw.
And here's an opportunity for the Redhawks. The Redhawks with a low line drive shot saved by Jones-Daw. Ava Benedetti doing what Seattle U, I think, is going to try to do the rest of this half and try and sneak through and find those creases and counter Utah Valley again with showing how aggressive they've been up tight, up high, trying to find that third goal. And Seattle U is going to say, if that's what you're going to give us, then we're going to try and counter you on the backside with that. Julie Carter. And this one gets past Orlando, go out of play. Last touch by the Redhawks. Orlando with a two-handed toss. Finds Julie Carter. Nice touch down the byline. Can Sadie Brockbank get there? Referee says she did. Brockbank trying to dance around her defender. Brockbank on the byline inside the box. Touched away. Julie Carter corrals it. Bundle there again, smothering defense. Back out to Brockbank. Brockbank going far post. Down in the box. Dangerous moment there. Sadie Brockbank looked like, or Anna Pickering rather, lost her footing. Brockbank still with it. Brockbank going toward the byline. And Brockbank kicks it off her defender for a corner kick. Jenna Shepard came in and flying and hitting the turf pretty hard.
Yeah, not a player we like seeing being slow to get up like she is.
Jenna Shepard, Thursday's hero. Today, again, the equalizing goal in the 29th minute. Finally gets up. And the referee, Joe Pickens, whistles that she's good to go and start the clock. Olanda with the corner kick for the Wolverines. Olanda sends this one in the top of the box. And Breeze trying to have a go. Heather Stainbrook with Carr and company lurking. Beeston on the ground, trying to find Olanda. No white shirts around. And Olanda, too hard of a touch, and Ava Benedetti comes away limping. Foul call, free kick for the Redhawks. Sydney Bushman with a nice header on the near side for the Wolverines. Julie Carter goes down along with Carr. Carr gets up and lowers another shoulder into Heather Stainbrook. We saw that battle on Thursday. And Stainbrook's and Tripp looks like she nicked her knee, didn't get all of that ball like she wanted to. This ball played all the way back to Jones-Daw. Again, if you're just now joining us, 56th minute, Utah Valley on top 2-1. Sydney Carr with her nation-leading 15th goal on the season for the Redhawks, scored in the 16th minute. Jenna Shepard then 15 minutes later, again Thursday's hero, scores her third goal in the last two games to tie it up in the 29th. And then right before the half, Heather Stainbrook on a free kick just outside the box, looped one in the back of the net past Wagasback. And that's where we stand here, 2-1. The free kick coming inside the center circle. Seattle U territory. Bushman going to take it. Carter. Carter goes left. Slides it back down to Stainbrook. Stainbrook on the attack. Stainbrook flicks this one in. Stainbrook, second goal of the day. 3-1 Utah Valley in the 57th.
And that goal right there had the purpose that Heather Stainbrook saw when she teed it off.
A fresh new day, fresh new sky, fresh new squad for Utah Valley. We knew the energy and the moxie that they had coming into this game. No weather, no excuses, and they knew it was going to be a different style of play, and this is a different type of Utah Valley team. Stainbrook just going 1v1, and like you said, Melanie, with purpose, over Wagasback in the back of the net.
We've talked about how we've seen that with Seattle U, right? Of, hey, you're going to give me the space, I'm going to take the shot. And we saw that with Heather Stainbrook. She was trying to get the player to step, close in on her, but she wasn't. So she's like, hey, you're giving me that space, you're giving me the time, I'm going to drill this.
And you heard Coach Chris LeMay encourage his team to continue with the tempo. And the last thing that Coach LeMay wants to do is on the other side in the next couple of minutes is to give up a goal. And we know how this Seattle U squad can continue to just apply the pressure. And the nation's leading scorer, you can't sleep on her. But here comes Utah Valley on the other side. Utah Valley again looking for Julie Carter in the box. Julie Carter still has it for the Wolverines. And now Carr. Carr showing off that nation's leading speed. Carr trying to go coast to coast here. And Shepard coming in to kick the ball away. But you just saw just within 2-3 seconds going from deep inside Utah Valley territory to about 15 yards away from the box, Sydney Carr.
All done by her, right? She's like, I'm taking control of this. You guys aren't getting the ball up to me. I'm going to get the ball and take it up myself.
Another look at that goal. Stainbrook's second of the day. So Shepard with the brace for the Wolverines on Thursday. Stainbrook with the brace so far here on Saturday. And another look at the wider angle. Again, there's that space, Melanie, like you said. And Stainbrook, just a beautiful shot with purpose and with pace.
Yeah, those side netting shots, those are hard to stop. Whatever position you are in as a keeper, you can't stop those side netting upper 90 shots.
Carr, the recipient of the ball. And a beautiful ball back in the back post, headed away by Utah Valley. Jenna Shepard. And a corner kick for Seattle U, and Jenna Shepard has some words for official Joe Pickens. So again, Melanie, you've said over and over, the most dangerous time is within the first 5-6 minutes after a goal is scored. And here comes Seattle U knocking on Utah Valley's door. Carr. Back post. Still in the box, headed down in the corner, diving save by Jones Daw. Ball played back and eventually kicked back out of the box by Nikki Olanda. Amber Tripp with it now on the near side to Sadie Brockbank. Anna Pickering is on. Anna Pickering trying to get the ball. Pickering with a nice touch to keep it herself. And Utah Valley had an opportunity there. Dixon was holding Brockbank. Brockbank inside the box. Brockbank with a shot and a goal! 4-1 Utah Valley in the 60th.
Oh my goodness, we have a game here. We knew the goals weren't stopping, and the best way, the goals aren't stopping for UVU, right?
Utah Valley making a statement here today at home at Clyde Field.
Almost identical to Heather Stainbrook's goal.
Brockbank again, virtually like you said, Melanie, same thing, and within the blink of an eye, 4-1.
What a great Sadie Brockbank, right? I mean, we've seen her, that itch and that drive of just being willing to take a shot like this. But look, she's right.
There's a diving save again for Jones Daw. And you have to tip your hat tip your cap off to Nikki Orlando, who was right there on that back post, too. If Jones-Dahl wasn't able to get there, you have to think that Orlando would have been able to get a boot on it. But, Melanie, we still have 30 more minutes left in this game.
Yeah, either team's not stopping. Right there we saw that what could have been the tipping point for Seattle U, but instead Sadie Brockbank chooses to get the ball at her feet and drill it and, almost seal the deal for UVU.
All that play, fantastic build-up. Brockbank trying to find Pickering. Pickering now down to Julie Carter, who corralled it, was able to find Brockbank, and Brockbank did the rest.
It really shows the importance of stretching the field, right? We saw Anna Pickering out wide. We saw Sadie Brockbank out wide, really stretching Seattle U's defense, allowing Sadie to have that space to take the shot.
Julie Carter pulls it back. Now to Stainbrook. And a foul is going to be called against Heather Stainbrook. So 61st minute, Utah Valley in a tornado of offense here this afternoon, 4-1. And again, Coach LeMay preaching to keep the tempo. The free kick service. Swung into the box. Stainbrook coming in to boot it up the field. And last touched by Gina Leet. And Brockbank will give this one back to Nikki Orlando for the throw-in. And so a couple of fresh legs coming in for Julie Woodward at the next opportune moment for the Red Hawks. Paige Malm along with Valentina Bernal. And a beautiful move here for Bailey Hall. And then Bushman coming in to clear that away for the Wolverines. So Leet will come off. And Bernal and Malm will come on. And also stepping off for the Red Hawks is Leigh Manthai. And then Amanda Mangelson and London Miller set to come in for the Wolverines at the next dead ball opportunity as well. Seattle U still with possession, well, momentarily. The referee, Joe Pickens, blows a whistle. And a goal kick is awarded to Utah Valley. Jones-Dahl with a fantastic booming kick. So London Miller and Amanda Mangelson come on for Sadie Brockbank and for Julie Carter. Both of which get high fives and fist bumps from head coach Chris LeMay.
Yeah, well-deserved rest for both of them. They've been running out of their mind, playing like out of their minds.
And Amanda Mangelson getting called for a foul. Over the back. That's what they would call in basketball. And Joe Pickens is going to have a call with London Miller. Another free kick set up here by Adam. Adam with the one touch, and it goes out of play. So Brita Wall coming in for Anna Pickering. Taylor Marks comes in for the Red Hawks, and stepping off is Michaela Morey. And Isabel Jones-Dahl waits. And Jones-Dahl continuing to direct traffic. And another big booming kick looking for Amanda Mangelson. Linda Miller now giving chase with Mangelson right there. And Utah Valley wins the ball right back. So this is the 22nd overall meeting between these two squads. And Seattle U with the 16-2-3 overall record. And again, we mentioned the last several times these two teams have met. It's been an overtime battle. Thursday was an overtime 2-2 loss. 2-2 tie, I beg your pardon. Now Linda Miller now inside the box. Brita Wall trying to be... And Heather Stainbrook feeling optimistic after 2 goals on the season, the afternoon. She's trying to find that third.
She has the confidence, and I'm not going to complain about that. We talked a lot about on Thursday of how we haven't been seeing that itch or drive from Heather Stainbrook lately. So why not? You're on cloud 9 right now. You have all the confidence. Keep taking those shots.
If the score holds out, or if the result still holds where Utah Valley comes away victorious, this will be the first time that Utah Valley has defeated Seattle U since that fateful November 5th, 2017 match where Utah Valley eventually sealed their fate to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and alone, I think I'd have to take a better look, but I believe it would be the first time in regular season as well. UVU's always had a hard time beating them in that regular season, but when it comes to that championship game, that's when they see the results that they want. It also gives a really good sneak peek, to be honest, of the WAC tournament. We've talked about how, Cal Baptist is definitely in the mix, but it more often than not comes down to these two teams in that championship match in the WAC tournament. And so this is definitely, I feel comfortable saying, not the last time UVU is going to see them and match up this season.
I think I'd have to agree with you there, Melanie.
It's also showing how tough that match is going to be. Honestly, I'm getting anxious for the aggression and toughness that we're seeing here, the frustrations, right? That's all going to carry in to the championship match from both teams.
And there's still a lot of growth left to do if you're both teams. I mean, we still have 3 games scheduled on the slate before the conference tournament even starts for both squads. We talked about how Utah Valley is going to go to Chicago next week and take on the Cougars of Chicago State for 2, and then coming back home April 10th, Saturday for Senior Day, and take on Dixie State. And then on the other side for Seattle U, they're going to go back home to championship field in the Emerald City. And they're going to get ready to take host to New Mexico State and then finish up with California Baptist.
Right before the tournament. You're right. There is definitely time to room to learn and grow, and they are. Both teams are getting better. Both teams, you always want to structure your season to you're building up to that peak, right? You don't want to peak right now in this Seattle U regular season matchup. You want to peak in that championship game in the WAC tournament. And so, yeah, both teams are still going up. They're trying to peak at the right time.
And we know the Utah Valley's, again, holding those grudges, barring they're trying to exercise those demons from years past, especially from 2019 season when Seattle U knocked him out of contention. And so here's Dixon now setting up for a free kick for the Red Hawks, sending it deep into the box and headed up and out of play. Last touch by the Red Hawks, so it'll be a goal kick for the Wolverines. And Isabel Jones-Daw will get a talking to as Joe Pickens blows the whistle and comes all the way down inside the box. And Jones-Daw with her hands on her hips and maybe a little bit of a smile across her lips as well, saying, okay, all right, I get it.
It's game management. That's what she's doing, right? And it's the smart thing to do. teams don't like it, but it's what you have to do. So props to Isabel to manage the game, right, and do what it takes. Keep doing it until the ref talks. Now that he gave her a warning, she probably will want to speed things up a little bit.
And we know that it's not just a Utah Valley team. That's just a soccer thing. It's called gamesmanship, and any other team would have done the same thing.
Exactly.
London Miller gets taken down. Amanda Mangelson slips, trying to get a touch on it to Amber Tripp. So in the 71st minute, Utah Valley on top 4-1. And a throw in coming for the Utah Valley Wolverines. And despite that 4-1 lead, Utah Valley on the offensive end still continuing to apply pressure. And Beeston's touch, not enough power on it to get past these attacking Redhawks. Bushman there to win it back for the Wolverines and eventually play it over to Breeda Wall. Miller still maintaining possession momentarily. And more tensions continuing to flare here as London Miller gets pushed and pulled down. Both people going back and forth at each other here.
I'd say more of a football tackle, honestly.
So 72nd minute, 4-1. Still got plenty of time left, and in games like this, you don't want to see anything escalate. You don't want to see any injuries or anything. And when emotions get in the way, it can be very difficult. Nicole Landa coming up in the center circle. Boots this one back into Seattle U territory. Bree Eves gives way to Shepard. And a nice turn in the middle from Ava Benedetti. Benedetti's searching ball goes all the way back to Jones Daw. Bunnell, great header on the defensive side over Mangelson. And Jenna Shepard now for the Wolverines. And you don't want to fall into bad, poor habits in games like this where it was so intense and so high with your emotions and where your focus was just so funneled. And then once you reach that certain point in the game, even though there's still 20 minutes left, you still have to have that focus. You still have to have that drive, even though you know that right now you're in a more comfortable spot than you have been. That's a difficult place to be in.
It is, and not only is it difficult, it's hard to execute as well. Because you can get anxious, you can get in the mindset of, hey, I'm just kicking this ball up, keeping it safe, getting it out of there. But what matters most is what we're doing with the ball, and we can't do anything with the ball unless we're keeping it. So it saves everybody's energy. It saves the game if you just stick to that game plan. Keep the ball, just move it, keep possession, just keep it away from Seattle U. That's a much better tactic than getting that frantic, kicking it up the field, pulling away from that tactic.
London Miller now to Bree Eves in the center circle. Eves back up to Miller. Miller searching ball, has Amber Tripp. Can Amber Tripp get there? And Amber Tripp laying down there inside the box, taking her time getting up. Amber Tripp in some visible pain. And London Miller fighting between two defenders. Amber Tripp went down pretty hard inside that box. I'm not sure if there was a stud or a cleat that came up and got her. But head referee Joe Pickens is marching his way over to try and have a talk with her, checking to see if she's okay, and she's gonna come off, and that'll give way for Lily Haskins. And Haskins will step on in the 75th minute for Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp's one of the toughest girls I know, and I'm sure you played with as well, and it takes a lot for her to show some emotion like that.
It does. She's not going to come off the field easily. She knows the game's not done and that she still had things to contribute to. And so, yeah, to see her willingly come off the field like that, not fun to see.
It also shows her leadership and her maturity as well. Not trying to stay on and do too much, but knowing that they're up 4-1 and she can afford to come off.
It does, and looking in the to the next couple games too, is that's not what you want, right? We're in that crunch time that we say over and over again of getting ready for the part of the season that matters most. So we're not going to risk any other injuries and making anything worse to lose another key player of this UVU team.
Heather Stainbrook still has it for the Wolverines. Lays it back to Nikki Olanda. Olanda back up to Stainbrook. Stainbrook, a nice one-touch pass to Olanda. Now down the near side looking for Haskins. Instead has Stainbrook. Stainbrook penetrating. Has Haskins to her left. Stainbrook trying to go for goal number 3. And a good look. Just goes a little bit too high and too far.
Brandon, we have not given enough credit to this UVU squad. We've kind of seen the results of a double overtime game in the Seattle squad. They're tired. They're nearing the end of their bodies can't do it anymore. Overtime games are always hard to play after. But this UVU team, I feel like we haven't seen any slope or downhill progress after this game. From the beginning whistle, they have just been dominating it. They've been keeping possession. We talked about at the beginning of second half that's what they're going to need to do, is they're going to just keep the possession, mimic this 67% possession this half, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're dominating this game right now.
And again, it's been a point of emphasis for Coach Chris LeMay and for his team and for the conditioning and the grind that they've been going after. They know their potential and they know what they can do with their goals that they've set. And this from the time that I've started calling these games with you, Melanie, over the last 5 years or so, as Brenna Crow comes in for Nikki Olanda on the backside for this Utah Valley defense. This is coming back from being down goals, either 1 or 2, was not in the chemistry, was not in the makeup for this Utah Valley team a couple years ago. But Utah Valley really looked at themselves in the mirror, and they said, okay, how can we get better? And Coach Chris LeMay and his team have developed a plan, and he's really implemented a fantastic personality into this squad, and a lot of these new fresh faces that have added to this team have bought into that same personality and that same plan.
He has, and that's exactly what they've done, is they've bought in. Every single one of these girls has bought into this program. I know in years past it's hard because you have those 1 or 2 players who just aren't bought into that work, that determination, putting in the work to do what it takes to come back from a goal down. And yeah, you're exactly right. This team is strong. You see it in their mental strength, their grit, their determination. It's something special.
And Brita Wall's moment today was brief. She comes off, two-handed high five from head coach Chris LeMay. Again, if you're just now joining us, Seattle U got things started early on in the 16th minute. Sydney Carr, the nation's leading goal scorer, scored her 15th on the season. Jenna Shepard came right back 15 minutes later, scored her 3rd goal in 2 games for the Wolverines to tie it up 1 apiece in the 29th. And almost right on cue is Sydney Carr. She gets dispossessed by Sydney Bushman. Lily Haskins now with it. Lily Haskins slotting this ball, trying to find London Miller. Instead, Amanda Mangelson has an opportunity. And this ball is kicked. Last touch off of Seattle U. It'll be a Utah Valley corner kick. And then Heather Stainbrook going back to the goals just to keep you up to speed. Stainbrook in the 41st scored off of a free kick, her first goal of the day, and then came right back with a stunner in the 57th to put it up 4-1. And Heather Stainbrook is going to slowly take her time off the pitch. And this corner does not bend for Coach Chris LeMay's Lily Haskins. About 10 minutes left in regulation. Cassian McCormick. And Amanda Mangelson takes a beating right off the stomach, and she will continue to rest and slowly get up, and that was just an absolute blast. And the clock will stop as Amanda Mangelson on her knees trying to gather her breath. And how many times have you been in that spot, Melanie?
It's not a fun spot to be in. Probably one too many times. It hurts. You just simply have to catch your breath. Especially, I mean, the ball's not hard. The pace that people are drilling the ball is not soft. And so that's the worst thing to happen, honestly. Nothing worse than getting the wind knocked out of you.
Mangelson showing off her strength, her tenacity to continue to stay in there. Gathers herself, comes over to try and mark her defender. And Joe Pickens has a talking with Sadie Brockbank. Brockbank comes off, and London Miller goes back on. And it also looks like the next opportune moment that we're going to see Brooklyn Nielsen come into the match for the Wolverines and replace Isabel Jones-Daw between the posts.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nielsen, someone who we've seen around. I still think it's crazy to say that there's girls on the team that I've played with, and Brooklyn Nielsen's one of them.
Here's Lily Haskins. Lily Haskins inside the box, pulls it back. Lily Haskins trying to be unselfish and passes that ball to Cassidy McCormick. And McCormick's shot right in the hands of Wagasback. Haskins was one of her best looks so far this season.
Yeah, probably one of those moments where I think she was a little too unselfish there. She was in on goal. I know that Chris wants, I mean, why let our foot off the brake, or the gas, sorry. Take that. You're a freshman. Get your first goal against Seattle U. There's nothing better.
Cassian McCormick goes down outside the box. Referee says play on. Amanda Mangelson lays this one off. Haskins. Haskins keeps it in play. And trying to slide this one up to Brenna Crow. This one goes out. Haskins, another one of these fantastic pieces, these freshman pieces, as we see Isabel Jones-Daw come out for Brooklyn Nielsen for Utah Valley. We see Dixon come back on for Seattle U. And Bailey Hall step off. And then Emily Bunnell step off for the Redhawks as well. And Taylor Marks comes on. But going back to Haskins, Haskins is some of these core freshmen with Beeston, with Eves, with London Miller, all these other additions coming into this program that Coach LeMay just has a lot of confidence in. And he's very excited about the future. We know Haskins and her prowess locally. And I work with one of her dear friends in Scrumby, Melinda, her mom, Patricia DeMott, and just speaks highly and praises of her and her sister, Katie Haskins. And again, this is not a full Utah Valley team, and just to think about the people who are sitting on the bench not fully suited up here, Melanie. We got Megan Sullivan, Katie Haskins among a handful. And once they get that full team back, again, Maddie Moore as well. Like, this is going to be an exciting Utah Valley team going forward to keep your eyes on.
It is, and I mean, it is so sad. It always is when you see that strength, that talent that you don't have on the field. But to be able to put other players on the field and still see that success and that playing level that UVU is playing at, it's tremendous, right? Not very many teams can have that depth where you lose some key important players and you play to the same level. So again, something that Chris LeMay has done an amazing job at, of getting this team to have depth. You can put any player on the pitch and they're going to be able to score or compete against top conference foe Seattle U.
And another player that I forgot to mention also is Jocelyn Bybee. And Jocelyn Bybee suffering an ACL injury at the beginning of the season for Utah Valley. You never want to see anything like that at all. And we see an injured Red Hawk on the pitch. And I think that might be Valentina Bernal. And she's being tended to by Seattle U's trainers. We're going to take another look at the replay just to see what happened up in real time. And Amanda Mangelson coming in from behind trying to get the ball. Got a piece of Bernal. And Bernal's studs also look like they got a piece of the turf. And that's just one of those soccer plays that stinks to watch and it stinks to be a part of. But Bernal getting some work done to that right knee, it looks like. And hopefully she's okay.
Yeah, and the planting before, not what you really want to see.
Take another look at it here. And immediately she held her right knee as she went down. So Bernal being tended to, Valentina Bernal, the sophomore from Chandler, Arizona, and the pride of Basha High School, is being helped up by the team trainer, and having Bernal not be, well, that's a good sign to see that she's able to put some weight on it. She's able to walk, albeit being helped, but that's a good sign to see. And Coach Julie Woodward now trotting out to tend to Valentina Bernal. And also Taylor Marks, her teammate, but Coach Woodward ultimately coming in, and they're going to carry her off, and hopefully Valentina is okay. You never, ever want to see this. And one of the downsides of athletic competition. We send our thoughts and well wishes over to her for a speedy recovery. And Bushman playing it back to Nielsen. And Nielsen, again, just a great story for Utah Valley between the posts. And a flag is up as Utah Valley's Hallie Fernandez was offsides. But again, Brooklyn Nielsen, it's the first time that she's been able to be a part of a team in over 18 months. She served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She was a missionary in Eastern Europe. And she comes back, and Coach LeMay having her continue to add her prowess between the posts with the other goalies on staff.
Yeah, it's never easy coming back from those missions. They do a lot of work, but they don't have a lot of time to exercise and stay in shape and do everything else that you have to do. And so to come back, it's extremely hard. It's a transition for sure. And I was talking to Brooklyn just the other day, and it turns out she was actually sick earlier in the season as well, which she said knocked her down quite a bit. And she didn't have the energy, and it kind of, right when she felt like she was getting to game shape, the sickness came and knocked her right back down. And so it hasn't been easy. It's never easy getting back into that shape that you want. But to be on the field right now, to be the backup keeper, awesome. Props to Brooklyn for working to get in this position.
Seattle U continuing to not go down swinging. Still on the attack, eventually taken away. '86-minute free kick coming here for the Wolverines, on top 4-1. Sydney Bushman. Ball goes all the way back to her. And Crow trying to get this ball outside of Utah Valley territory. Meanwhile, Seattle U and the Red Hawks still applying pressure. And Fernandez. It's a good ball movement here by the Red Hawks. Benedetti. Now Crow kicks it up and out of play. We take another look at the replay between that exchange. You see Carr initiating the contact. Carr with the elbow straight into Sydney Bushman's chest. And Bushman goes down.
You know, we have 4 minutes in the game left, right? Those are the things that it's not really necessary, right? No good's going to be coming from it. So why bother? Calm down, play the game.
87th minute here at Clyde Field in Orem, Utah. Brenna Crow trying to find Cassie McCormick, and does. Lily Haskins.
Arguably the second hand call on Dixon that was missed.
Nielsen boots this ball up. Grace Beeston up the field. Nice touch from London Miller. Cassidy McCormick on the left-hand side for the Wolverines. McCormick, far post. Fernandez still giving chase. And this will go out of play for a goal kick for Wagasback. And should this score hold, Melanie, which in the waning minutes it does, if not maybe one other goal, it would be the largest margin of victory between these two teams. The largest margin of victory before today's match was just two. It was 2 goals between the two. So throughout the history, top to bottom, anytime these two teams have played, it's been very close. 1 goal, 2 goal, tie here and there. But this is the first time really that the door has been blown open between the two squads. And the 89th minute, Brenna Crow sending a ball into the box, punched away by Wagasback. And they're going to call a foul. Mangelson on the ground for Miller. Miller slides this over. Harrison. Now back to Fernandez. Fernandez, beautiful move. Miller. Back to Fernandez. Fernandez with the left foot shot. And a punching save from Wagasback. Final minute left in regulation, and a corner kick coming for the Wolverines. Everybody up on the bench for this Utah Valley team. They're smelling the victory here. And they've been waiting a long time to try and exercise these demons and take down the Red Hawks. Beautiful shot there by Fernandez and a nice save from Wagasback. So 30 seconds left in regulation. Here's the corner kick, swinging to the near post. and kicked out by the Redhawks. And this one's going to be played all the way back to Brooklyn Nielsen. Nielsen gets a boot on it. 15 seconds left. And the final 10 seconds here at Clyde Field. A moment that these Utah Valley Wolverines have been waiting for a long time. And that final whistle sounds, and the Utah Valley Wolverines are victorious as they defeat the Redhawks of Seattle U 4-1 here at Clyde Field in Orem, Utah.
What a beautiful game. This is the UVU squad that we know that if they play that way every game for the full 90 minutes, they can't be beat.
The comeback queens make it official this weekend. Going down 2-0 on Thursday, coming back to score 2 to tie it up and finish off with the 2-2 tie in double overtime. Utah Valley falling behind yet again here today. A goal. Coming back and scoring 3. And then 4th in the final minutes. 4-1 is your final score. Smiles all around for the Wolverines as they are victorious. For our pitch side statistician director, Ben Schroeder, for Melanie Osser, I'm Brandon Crow saying so long and good night. Wolverines victorious in Orem.